Good evening and a very warm welcome to Television Tonga's news package for tonight. Making headlines, representative from the New Zealand market currently in Nuku'alofa in a trade agreement with the Eastern Agricultural Council. Direct shipment of squash exports ensure good quality and better sales. And Tonga is one of several countries which has the highest number of deaths from non-communicable diseases, where measures are taking place to combat this through awareness programs. These and more stories later on in this bulletin. I'm Fatai Whainga with your news for tonight. The Education Bill 2013 has been submitted to Parliament this morning. At the beginning of parliamentary deliberations, the Minister of Education, Dr. Ana Tauwhelungaki, elaborated on the bill to the members of the House. The Honourable Minister of Education and Training says they've been working on the bill for the past 3 years before it was submitted to Parliament. She says the bill aims to replace the Education Act in 1971, although there were amendments made in 1999, 2001, 2002, 2010 and the latest amendment last year. Dr. Tauwhelungaki says minor amendments were made which did not change the content of the Act, except for the amendment in 2002, which dissolved the authority of the Minister of Education and transferred it to the Public Service Commission. This is the Act regarding the civil servants in 2002. Dr. Tauwhelungaki told the House the bill also includes changes which apply to all levels of education, and this includes preschools, technical and vocational institutes, and also government assistance towards the education sector. She adds Clause 10 of this bill is significant because it identifies needs to return the Minister's authority towards her workers. In the meantime, the legal age for students in Tonga will begin from the age of 13, similar to that of the legal age for education, which began on the age of 4 up to 18. The new policy for the Ministry of Education is also submitted under this bill. After her debate on the bill, the Education Bill 2013 was then approved to pass down to the whole House Committee for further deliberations. A representative from the MG market of New Zealand, Bita Longi, is in Nuku'alofa for a trade agreement with the Eastern Agricultural Council. These will benefit the local farmers at the Eastern District of Tonga. Whanonga Veikosa was there and filed this report.
The local farmers from the Eastern District were fortunate to start discussing its trade agreement with their New Zealand counterpart, the MG market. The agreement includes exporting of local fruits and crops from the Eastern District to New Zealand. In return, these foreign markets will bring in fruits and other produce that were not available in Tonga.
So MG Marketing is a New Zealand growers cooperative, and we distribute fruit and vegetables in New Zealand and Australia. So we're working with the Tongan government and the Eastern Council to develop new market opportunities for Tongan fresh produce in New Zealand. We're looking at watermelon, but we're also looking at butternut squash and other products. And we hope to develop some long-term business here in Tonga for the benefit of the Growers Council and the growers themselves. And we hope to be able to distribute that product through New Zealand.
According to the marketing officer of the Eastern District's Agriculture Council, Paula Mosaati, the meeting is to ensure a good relationship between the two parties. This initiative started earlier this year, where members of our council visited New Zealand and seek for a foreign counterpart. We therefore find this market that enables us to start exporting our produce next week. This exportation will include varieties of crops such as taro, cassava and many more. By doing this, it will benefit the country's economy and the local farmers. The meeting was attended by Lord Nuku, some of the people's representatives to Parliament and stakeholders. Meantime, some of the local farmers praise this new move. The problem is that new people give in so easily, where they start exporting then later stopped. But we hope that this new trade agreement will be sustainable. Men aren't the only one who can do this work. We can plant vegetables to support our families and to ensure that we put food on table without relying on others. In previous years, many farmers were not likely to face any problems unless introducing of fertilizers and chemicals. But currently, organic farming is popular. About 80 farmers attended this morning's meeting, which was held at the Taonunga Hall in Lapaha. Fonowe Koso for Television Tonga News.
The new Millennium Export squash pumpkin are expected to maintain its quality and freshness upon reaching its destination in the Asian markets. This is ensured through direct shipments of the produce to its foreign markets on a special vessel arranged by the Japanese suppliers. The manager of the export company, Leslie Namoa, told Radio and Television Tonga News this morning they are cleaning and packing the squash pumpkin into boxes before it's sent to be loaded on the vessel. This local woman believes that the better the quality of the squash, the better the sales, which will benefit the growers. We'll join Kalalaini Tonglava with that report.
In the past, squash that was exported abroad was sent in a container shipment via New Zealand, then on to its Asian markets. Today, local businesswoman Leslie Namoa is shipping the squash produce directly to its Asian counterparts. This is the first direct shipment of squash pumpkin to its Asian market. The shipment departs Nuku'alofa on Saturday with an expected amount of 1,500 tons. The huge benefit of this because the 12-day journey to its market is a short period, which helps maintain the quality and freshness of the squash, which is a short time that can help keep the fresh condition of the squash produce. These squash produce are directed to Japan and Korea's markets. The first stop will be Japan on the 24th of October with 700 tons of squash. The next stop is in Korea on the 26th with 800 tons. If we exceed our target, we will still ship the rest of the produce to the Japanese markets. Meanwhile, the new Millennium Exports have employed more than 100 workers to help clean, prepare and pack the squash. Mrs. Namoa also added that the quantity of the squash produce for this year is expected to exceed last year's produce. This is due to favorable weather conditions, where 1 kilogram of seedlings can produce more than 10 to 20 tons of squash pumpkins. At the same time, quarantine staff from the Ministry of Agriculture are carrying out the inspections on the squash produce before it's approved for export. Reporting for Television Tonga News, I'm Kalolaine Tonglava.
A local squash grower has spent up to 300,000 pa'anga in her squash for this year alone, which includes planting, harvesting and processing of the produce. The senior advisor for the new Millennium Exports, Semisi Whanua, told Television Tonga News, Lasini Huni invests a lot of money in her plantation at Fa'ui and is expecting a large yield from it. Linda Filia reports.
Speaking to Television Tonga News, the senior advisor of New Millennium Exports says they're optimistic price from the market. One of our grower, Lasini Huni, has produced really good outcome this year. She has spent almost 300,000 pa'anga on her harvesting process and is expected to ship 600 tons of squash pumpkin from her 200-acre plantation. Meanwhile, he also revealed that they earned really good money from their produce last year, and they're looking forward for the same this year, especially with the favorable weather condition. I believe this sector helped employ a lot of people. We are currently on the process of preparing our first shipment for this year, which is this Saturday. He adds Lasini had employed more than 100 workers to harvest and prepare the squash for exportation. In the past years, this sector has generated a lot of revenue for the country, but has declined in previous years. In an interview with the Honourable Minister of Agriculture, Sengsta Saulala, he called on the public to revive the squash pumpkin sector. For Television Tonga News, I'm Linda Filiai.
A 28-year-old mother from Namuka and Hapai was brought to Waiala Hospital for urgent medical attention on Monday evening. Waiala Hospital Superintendent Dr. Paula Vivili told Television Tonga News that the patient has been treated and is awaiting to be taken back to Namuka. Sinlatu gives you more.
The medical superintendent of Waiala Hospital, Dr. Paula Vivili, says They were contacted by the doctor in charge in Ha'apai, Dr. Devita Vasiwala, in regards to the state of the mother's health. He says she is now in a stable condition. We were told a 28-year-old mother was unwell. She was admitted to Nomuka's health center with stomach problems and was believed to be related to her pregnancy. Therefore, medical attention was needed urgently. They hoped to send her to the hospital in Pangai, but because of the bad weather, she was brought to Dongatapu instead. He adds, when the patient arrived, she was immediately taken to Viola for medical treatment. They arrived Monday evening around 10. She was taken to hospital immediately. As of now, she is in a stable condition. We hope that she continues to recover well so she could be discharged and return to Nomuka. He adds that the Ministry of Health funds the expenses to bring patients from the outer islands to Viola Hospital for medical treatment. In the last case, the Health Ministry spent more than 1,000 pa'anga. In light of this, Dr. Vivili says they are doing their best to send well-trained health officers to the outer islands. However, medical services provided in the outer islands is limited due to the skills and resources.
A senior police officer who was suspended for more than a month has now been charged for common assault and disturbance. An investigation still continues into the matter. This was revealed by the Police Commissioner Grant Tofi this afternoon. The suspended duration has also been extended until the result of the trial. The senior police officer worked with the Criminal Investigation Unit and the Training Unit before the allegations were made. Tonga is one of the several countries which has the highest number of deaths from non-communicable diseases. Measures are taken to combat this through awareness programs and exercise activities. A one-day awareness program on Live the Healthy Lifestyle While You Are Still Healthy today ends a series of similar training held throughout Tonga. Anasi Falikano with a more net story.
The Health Ministry's Public Community Department led the training at Ma'ofanga's Free Christian Church Hall. The Health Ministry's Dr. Ofatogia says the program aims at educating the participants about the risks of non-communicable diseases or NCDs. To all women, it is clear that one of the major causes of death are from the non-communicable diseases. We are able to conduct this training program through the financial assistance from the World Health Organization. In this training, we are sharing our knowledge and understanding on how to combat non-communicable diseases in the country. The program also encourages the participants to eat healthy food and adopt a healthier lifestyle while you're still healthy. One participant in the workshop, Daniela Balele, told Radio and Television Tonga News that the Ma'ofanga district has initiated exercise programs to show their full support for keeping healthy. I count it today as a blessing. We are waiting for this program to take place in Ma'ofanga. We already initiated an exercise program to show our full support in boosting the health lifestyle in Tonga. This is why we are happy today. The series of training programs were held in Tongatapu and other outer islands are funded by the World Health Organization. Meantime, the leader of the group, Dr. Ofatogia, emphasized the importance for all the church leaders and the leaders of the nation to support such program for the health of the nation. From Ma'ofanga, I am Anasti Falegano for Television Tonga News.
Tongans who reside in Fiji are looking to set up a database of Fiji-based Tongans. Plans are being made to establish a community organization which can help Tongans who are in Fiji for study or to apply for a visa at any time at any of the diplomatic missions and any other assistance they may need. Eleni Leveni Devi, who's in Tonga from the European Union office in Suva, says the idea was prompted when they welcomed Their Majesties King Leopold VI and Queen Anaspau to Suva last month. The initiative was to help the Tongan people travelling to Fiji on business, studying or for leisure times. We are setting up a database to help direct our Tongan visitors on who and where they can get help from if needed. Not only that, but we can also help them cut costs through directing them to cheaper transportation and accommodation. She adds she was not aware of many Tongans in Fiji until they welcomed their Majesties to Suva last month. The special visit of their Majesties brought together many Tongans to gather in Suva. This is because His Majesty King Naboth VI officiated at University of the South Pacific graduation in his capacity as the Chancellor of USB. We then decide to set up the Tongan community. Meetings are scheduled for next week for the Tongan community in Fiji for further discussions before the organization is established. And as the local news, sports is up next.